Okay, guys, so this presentation is about how to manipulate Google with its own properties. And so first I want to talk about who we are. We've got I'm Bradley Benner. I'm a local SEO agency owner. I've been running a local SEO agency since 2012. I actually have been doing SEO since the end of 2009. I had I built a lead gen business originally because I didn't want to do client work. Until I didn't do client work for the first couple years, but then in 2012 I opened up Big Bamboo Marketing, which is an SEO and digital content marketing agency, so that I could provide my knowledge and expertise to local clients to generate some additional revenue. I'm also a teacher and a team builder. That's something that I do for Semantic Mastery, which is who we are. Our teaching and coaching and SEO coaching business, and I also build teams through hiring virtual assistants and training them, and that's something that I've gotten pretty good at over the years. My partner here, who's on with us today as well, and Hernan, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey everyone, thanks Bradley for leaving me this intro time. My name is Hernan Vasquez. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I've been into this SEO game for the past, I would say, 8 years. Close to 9 years, and it all started with web design. So I started providing web design services to clients and to acquaintances, your friends and family and whatnot. And then those people started referring me some other people because we were doing like really good websites right off the bat, like that you can that they were cross-browser compatible and all those kind of things that you needed to have at that point. And I started gathering clients, delivering good job, and one thing, that people will ask for you or services is SEO. So I started diving into SEO, and I started giving really good results to my clients, and that's how I started combining good web design and good conversions with SEO, which is basically what we are teaching right now at Semantic Mastery. So I'm also a co-host on many of our events that we make with Bradley, and I have the honor of being part of that amazing community. And I'm all about the funnels, the sales funnel, the product funnels, and anything that needs to have a funnel to convert a lead into a subscriber, and then a subscriber into a customer, a paying customer. That's where I enter. So that's basically my whole role in this structure.
Yeah, and Hernan does a lot of international SEO. I've stuck within the U.S., United States, so I always defer to him when it comes to any sort of international SEO type of questions.
Yeah.
But he's also our traffic specialist. He does a lot of our paid traffic as well as SEO. And as Hernan mentioned, he's oftentimes a co-host with the training and the webinars that I do. And it's really good because it works out. It's kind of a dialogue between him and I to our students, and we always complement each other very well as far as the training, because I might say it from one angle, but he says it from another, and it always provides a really good relationship, or a good way to present information to our students. So we also have one of our other partners on who I didn't think was going to make this, so it's kind of a bonus to have him on, but Marco Benavides, he's on. Marco, if you want to introduce yourself for a minute, a picture of you is coming up in a subsequent slide. But if you want to jump on for a minute and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bradley. My name is Marco Benavides, and I've been working online for well over 10 years now. And well, as everyone will come to know, I'm one of the guys who figured out how to help you rank your shit.
Nice, short and sweet. Let's move on. That's great. Our promise throughout this presentation, guys, we're going to try to keep this down to about 60 minutes because we want to respect everybody's time. So I have the presentation prepared. But yes, you really can use Google's own properties to manipulate search, crowd out your competitors, and get the results you want. So stay tuned, and you're going to find out how. What we're going to cover: what's needed to rank in 2016. Why using trusted properties for SEO is important, why traditional SEO practice is becoming obsolete, and the most trusted properties according to Google. Okay? And as a bonus for staying on this webinar, attending this webinar and staying on till the end, we're going to give you a complete walkthrough of one of my maps set up for SEO. Okay? Results that you can achieve. Rank your properties, and this is what the methods we're going to teach today using Google's own properties, guys. So pay attention because this is quite exciting stuff. But rank your properties for your desired keywords. This includes websites, videos, maps, social profiles, Web 2.0s, etc., including ranking Google's own properties, right? Which includes Google Sites, PDFs, slides, docs, sheets, My Maps, folders, videos, etc. There's a bunch of them. Okay, you guys will come to know throughout this presentation. We're talking about Google Drive and Google Drive files, and how you can use Google Drive and its own properties to not only rank those files, but also to rank your own properties as well. Okay, and third-party properties too. This can help you to take multiple first-page SERP results. Okay, so essentially you can crowd out competitors and take up multiple spots on page 1 of the search results. Okay, and this can help you to get results very quickly, and we're going to show you some examples through this as well. Okay, so common concerns is these are the type of questions that we typically hear from students that are looking to start an SEO business or promote their own products or promote their own business. Even students that have like brick and mortar businesses and they're just looking to get that online marketing edge that their competitors don't have. This includes people that want to become SEO, that do freelance SEO work as consultants or local business consultants, or even SEO agency owners or aspiring SEO agency owners that want to really scale their business and get to that agency level. Okay, but these are common questions that we hear over and over again, or common concerns, and that's why there's this slide here. I want to cover a few of those. I don't have a big budget for SEO. This method uses this method uses properties that are 100% free. No expenses for hosting, software, or tools are required. Okay, so it's very unique in that respect. Creating content is a challenge for me. There are no duplicate content penalties with this method. You can even use other people's content. And guys, we're assuming that most of you that are attending this webinar have some level of SEO knowledge already. If you do not, then this might not make as much sense to you, but we're going to make that assumption, and this webinar is based on the assumption that you have some SEO knowledge already. And what we can tell you is the methods that we're going to teach fly in the face of that SEO knowledge. And that's what really makes this unique, is because it's something that goes against the grain. It's outside the box. It's not the norm. So any one of those cliches will fit, because what we're going to teach you kind of goes against everything that you've learned. So unlearn what you've learned so far and open your mind to the potential that this has. Okay. I don't have a PBN, private blog network, guys. PBNs or private blog network sites aren't necessary to make this work. They can be supplemental. They can help if you have them already. By all means, you can use them to help speed up the process that we're going to share with you throughout this presentation, but they are not necessary to make this work. I don't want to risk harming my money sites or client sites. Guys, this is 100% safe and uses Google's own properties. So you're going to be linking to your money sites or your money properties or client sites using Google's own properties. It's safe. Okay? Google's not going to punish itself anyways. So, transparent disclaimer. At the end of this presentation, we're going to make you an offer to join our complete training program. I hope that's fair. Just want to make that real clear, guys. We are going to give you some valuable training throughout this, and again, kind of open up your mind to the potential or the possibilities that are, a lot of you won't hear anywhere else. But again, at the very end of this presentation, we are going to make an offer to get a more complete training. All right. But because of that, I'm going to bribe you to stick around to see the full setup demonstration of one of the many methods we teach inside the training, and we're going to walk through it. And share with you how to actually take one of the Google Drive files and optimize it to your advantage. And it's a very, very powerful method. This is something that alone in itself can help you to outrank your competitors, especially in the local space. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay? Does that sound fair? Anybody want to add to that? Does that sound good?
I think it sounds really, really, really good, Bradley. In fact, the actual fact that we are kind of, and thanks to Marco, this is a really groundbreaking training that we are putting together for you guys in a way that nobody else is teaching. I think that's gonna have a huge impact in everyone's SEO business. Not only in a way that they can rank properties, but they can actually blanket the entire first page of Google, that's going to have a huge impact on their business.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten a chance to get to know each of you, and this presentation I've been hearing a lot about as I've been getting to know you. So I'm really looking forward to it. Do you mind if I just chime in here and there if I have questions? Is
Absolutely.
that cool?
Please.
All right. So
Encourage
okay,
that.
I'll try and merge in, very organically. So take it away.
Okay. Okay, so what's needed to rank in 2016? This is important. The methods, the strategies, the requirements, I should say, to rank in Google now have changed dramatically. They're constantly evolving, and SEO has become more and more complex, and it does so almost daily. So, in order to rank with traditional SEO, there's a lot of things that you need to, there's over 200 ranking factors or signals that you need to optimize for that to really rank in 2016, and it's just, again, it's become so complex. And in part, one of the reason why we developed this training was to kind of simplify it and bring it back down, and what we call the SEO time machine, like bring it back down to the 2005 level as far as what it took to rank in Google, and we're going to talk about that throughout this presentation as well. So here are some of the things, and this is by no means an all-inclusive list. These are just some of the main points that Google's looking for in 2016. So the left column here is more about on-page SEO, so anything that you can do to the properties themselves that you're trying to rank and generate traffic with. And the ones on the right column here is more about off-page SEO, so things that you do not to the property itself, but in order to kind of boost that within the search results, to manipulate it to the point where it's ranking and generating traffic. So good on-page SEO, that's required now. In fact, you should always start with on-page SEO whenever you're trying to optimize for an SEO campaign. Consistent, high-quality, unique content, guys. In 2016, content marketing is essential. It's something that you need to do. You need to be consistently producing new content. It kind of provides that whole freshness factor that Google's looking for. It's got to be high quality and unique content. Gone are the days where you could spam until you hear about RYS methods. Gone are the days that you could use crappy content or over-optimized content and still generate or produce results. Okay. Silo architecture. For those of you that I'm assuming most of you have some level of experience with SEO or knowledge of SEO. So silo architecture, that's almost a must now, unless you're dealing with really uncompetitive keyword phrases where that's not necessary. But for the most part, if you're in any sort of competitive space, you're going to need to develop your site or build your site out with silo structure in order for it to give you that edge, and also to reduce the requirements for off-page SEO. So that can be, silo architecture in itself can be quite complex. Okay, and even in the local space, guys, which is becoming more and more saturated with SEOs and people that are learning to become local client consultants, silo architecture is something that's required because it is becoming more competitive.
Okay, real quick, can you go into just a little bit of what a silo is?
Yeah, well, silos would be essentially grouping keywords that are thematically relevant. Okay, they're based upon a particular theme, and for example, if you're trying to build a site for, I don't know, let's say an HVAC company, contractor that does service and repair and installations and potentially plumbing as well, as a lot of HVAC guys do plumbing as well, then those would be different silos on the site. So topical categories, right, or services in this case, because we're talking about a service-based industry. And then you develop the site out with structures such that you have those top-level categories as the top of the silo, and then you have supporting documents or supporting articles, supporting content that cover or focus upon longer tail keywords. So, for example, if plumbing was one of the top silos for an HVAC contractor, because a lot of the time it's heating, air, and plumbing guys, right? If plumbing was one of the top level categories, you may have plumbing, faucet repair, water heater repair, drain cleaning, grease trap cleaning. All of those would be basically supporting articles or supporting content that would reinforce that overall plumbing theme. And so it's the way you structure your content and build that out on the site which creates those silos and gives that entire silo the thematic relevance, which helps to rank the entire site for not only its individual posts and pages, but also for those categories, those top-level categories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so a silo is basically like the same kind of content, but just in different forms. Here's your plumbing video. Here's your plumbing article. Here's your plumbing picture, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
and it's kind of putting it together in a particular stacking the content in a way, assembling the content in a way that's very logical and makes sense, and it helps Google to understand your content, and it gives you that ranking edge. It's something
Oh,
that's
okay. So hence silo architecture. I get.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so brand authority, guys. 2016, Google's all about brands, bigger brands. If you're building new sites out, I don't ever recommend that you try building on like an exact match domain, which is just a keyword-based domain. Always go with the brand name. Try to build some brand authority for whatever branding, guys. Even a small site can be a brand. So that's something that you need to be looking for is brand authority. And in social branding, that's absolutely a requirement. SEO is no longer, and social media are no longer two separate things. They're kind of intertwined now to the point where you need to be on social media as well in order to have any sort of traction within search. So that's pretty much on page. Hernan or Marcus, you guys want to add to that at all?
No, I think that's the way we are doing it. That's the way we are advising our students. It doesn't mean that you need to get an exact match domain, for example, to rank for that keyword. In fact, the way we're going to teach you on this webinar is to do exactly the opposite. Still get those brand signals, but you go as wide as you want because you got a branded domain or you have branded properties. So
Right.
that branded properties could rank for a bunch of keywords. You could be ranking for HVNC, and then you could be ranking for other niches. Under the same brand. It's like you're not pigeonholing under one brand, under one keyword or a set of keywords, just by using that approach.
Yep. So on the off-page side of things, as far as the off-page SEO, which traditionally is mainly link building, in 2016, links, any sort of inbound links, should be from trusted, high-authority sites. We're going to talk in a couple slides from now. We're going to be talking about what's called seed sets, or seed sites, or seed pages, but primarily seed sets. And Marco's on with us, fortunately, today. He can talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. But that's something that's going to be required going forward is links from trusted high authority sites, okay? Whereas inbound links from sites that aren't relevant or aren't considered authority sites are going to be completely deprecated. They're going to be depreciated. They're going to be essentially just discounted, okay? They're not going to have any effect. They're going to be ignored. And we'll talk about that briefly. Co-citations. What is a co-citation? Now, actually, I brought this up. Let me grab what this is right now, and I'm just going to share this URL. This is probably on one of the next slides anyways, but I do want to open this up just to show you guys what article I'm talking about, and then we'll jump back over to this. You guys are seeing my full screen, correct?
Yep. And we can have that. In fact,
Yep,
we can put that on the chat box right now so that they can check it out as well.
Yeah. And so build healthy. This is a great article from wordtracker.com about what co-citations are and co-occurrence. And again, I'm not going to read through this article, but co-citations is something that is, and co-occurrence have been baked into Google's algorithm now. It's part of something that you're going to need to understand going forward because Google, look, backlinks are still very important as part of an SEO strategy. There's no question. However, backlinking itself is becoming more complex, and Google's trying to change how they count backlinks and how they rank stuff to look for additional signals beyond that, which is in part what these slides are talking about that we're going through now. And so co-citations and co-occurrence is one of the ways that they're doing it. Okay, and so I'm not going to read through this, guys. You'll be able to click on the link yourself and read through it. And I highly recommend that you bookmark it and come back to it so that you can stay focused on the webinar currently. But co-citations is something that you need to know going forward as an SEO if you're doing any sort of off-page link building. Clean anchor text profile. You need to make sure that your anchor text ratios are good. Anybody that is on, I'm sure, knows what anchor text is, but essentially that's the text that is clickable when it links to a site. You don't want to use a bunch of keywords, obviously, now because that can get you penalized. It's a spam tactic. So what we recommend always doing is using the brand name or naked URLs, provided that you have a brand name type domain name and not an exact match domain, and that should make up 80 to 90% of your backlink profile should be branded and or URL anchors, because that just looks natural and you don't need a bunch of keyword anchors anymore. So that's why I say clean anchor text profile. Okay, brand recognition. So brand authority will get brand recognition. Will create that brand recognition. That's why they're on the same level here, guys, because you want to build brand authority, which will in turn generate brand recognition, which is going to help you to rank and outrank competitors. And there's ways that you can manipulate your brand authority too, and we're going to be talking about that today. Social engagement. So one thing to have social branding, but it's another to have social engagement. In order to rank in 2016 using traditional SEO methods, social engagement is critical. Okay, because just having social branding alone, although if you have social branding and your competitors don't have social branding, that should give you an edge. But most of the time, you're going to need social engagement across your social properties in order to give you the full benefit of it. Okay, you guys want to add to that before I move on?
I think you nailed it with the social engagement and the brand recognition. Now we are using some, we have been known over last year, 2015, and this year as well, as the IFTTT guys, and yeah. we have ranked properties solely on those backlinks and social engagement and brand authority and brand recognition as well. So I think they're really powerful. And now we are integrating, thanks to Marco's finding, all of what we are going to show on this webinar with IFTTT, which makes it really, really powerful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, and just like that slide was saying, it's not just a nice to have social profiles; it's a need to have now, and that's really important to understand now.
Yeah. Yeah, and in having engagement across those profiles, because that's almost equally as important as having the profiles themselves, is having that engagement there, because really it's about attention and engagement. Like the currency of the web now, it used to be just traffic. But the currency of the web now truly is engagement. It's identity and engagement, and that's if we go back to this slide for just a moment, like that's really why brand authority is here. That's your identity. That's your, the currency of the web in 2016 and what's called the semantic web or Web 3.0, which is what we are in now, the early stages of it. Yes, but still we're in that semantic web 3.0 era. Is having a strong identity and having engagement across your branded properties, across your properties on the web that are identifying you as who you are, and that's why, again, that's so important. Okay, so moving on, what's needed to rank? Why using trusted properties for SEO is important. So we mentioned earlier that this is one of the things, is using trusted properties. Google is becoming increasingly strict about quality. Inbound links from low quality sites are being discounted and can even be harmful. And Google Trust is measured by distance from trusted linking site. And that's in part of an actual patent that we're going to share in a blog post that our trusted partner and mad scientist Marco created. And we're going to share that link here in just one moment.
I think you can't say enough about Google Trust and the distance that you are from the trusted site that's linking to you. The further away you are, the less trust you get from that website. If you're not connected to a trusted site, forget it.
Mm. That's right. So when it says that it could do your site harm, you mean like you're talking about being in like what's called the quote unquote Google sandbox, like you just can't be found. Is that what you mean by harm?
Well, yeah, essentially, if you get an unnatural link profile, which could be what's called a manual spam action notification, that's where Google has somebody's manually reviewed your site and said, okay, you're breaking the terms of service of Google. You're trying to intentionally manipulate the search results, and therefore we're going to demote your site, or perhaps even de-index your site. And if your site gets demoted, it means you're not going to rank no matter what you do. If it gets de-indexed, you're not even going to be found. Even if people tried to directly search for your domain name or brand name or whatever, it's not going to show up in Google search. People could still go directly to your site if they knew what your domain name was, but they wouldn't be able to find it in Google search. And that's a manual spam action. That's where somebody has actually reviewed it and allocated that spam action or levied that against your site. But then there's also algorithmic penalties, and that's something that the algorithm itself can identify and apply to your site without even a notification being sent. And that's
Okay.
a bit trickier because oftentimes you won't notice it right away unless you're checking analytics and your traffic to your sites and you see that your traffic has dropped. But it can be a bit tricky to fix or to resolve when it's an algorithmic spam penalty, an algorithmic penalty. So essentially, all we're saying is that you don't want to cause any harm to your site by blatantly doing something that Google is going to either the algorithm or a manual reviewer could penalize you for.
Okay, so what I understand you saying is that in 2016, things have become, well, just over time, I would say, have become more and more complex, and these are the sophisticated signals that you need to show Google that you're willing to play ball and keep us where we need to be and not out in the middle of nowhere, so that we can actually be found by our customers and our customers can buy our products on our websites. Is that about right? Okay, cool.
Correct. And guys, the reason I was showing, we went through each one of those data points, which again is by no means an all-inclusive list, but those are just some of the major ones, is because SEO really is complex, and we're just trying to exemplify that here. Okay, and we're trying to convey that here, and so what we're going to be talking about today is going to show you that we found a way to simplify a lot of that. So this is a blog post. I believe it's in another slide. To be honest with you, it may not be, but the link will be available for you guys as well. We'll drop it in chat as well as put on the replay page if there's going to be a replay. But the death of the PBN, Marco, our own trusted partner, Marco, he wrote this, and he goes into the Google patent here. We scroll down, and there's even references here to the Google patent where he talks about seed sites and seed sets, and the distance away from linking sites, and again, I would encourage you to spend some time going through this blog post and reading it. Marco, do you want to comment on that at all?
No.
Here, by the way, just sorry, real quick. Here on this slide is the links, guys, as well, so you can check them out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, once again, it's just emphasizing the need to be as close to a trusted site as possible, and we'll tell everyone what a trusted site is, and a trusted set or a trusted set of websites that are pointing directly or indirectly to your website.
Yeah. Okay. So why traditional SEO practice is becoming obsolete? In an effort to combat search manipulation, PBNs are going to be ignored, and that's what the death of the PBN blog post was about. And again, it goes into more detail about how what we have been doing for years now and has been very effective with building private blog networks or PBNs and linking to our sites is going to very shortly, very soon, is going to be essentially useless or ineffective at best. Okay, and that's something that is coming. Okay, because their algorithm, they've got the patents that have been accepted and approved by the U.S. government to put that into their algorithm. So it is coming, guys, and that's what we
If I can interrupt you, they're already using the algorithm, the ranking score algorithm, but they're using it for special days like Mother's Day, for people who are optimizing for that. They're already using the ranking score algorithm. They're already using all of these other different data. They're gathering all these different data that we're talking about, and it's being applied. And if we know Google, and we do know Google, like we know Google, if they're testing it, it's because they're going to apply it algorithmically throughout everything, not just on certain dates or special dates or whatever. It's coming.
Okay, so if I understand this right, PBNs were like that's what was working. Now it's not working anymore, and you're saying what this slide is showing is basically what we need to do now.
PBNs are still working.
Yeah.
But anyone who uses a PBN knows that they lose effect over time, and that's because we thought it was simply because they lost links. And as links were lost, the power of the PBN was lost. But now what we're seeing is that what was happening is it was actual PBN atrophy. Because what we do is we hide PBNs. We try to hide them from Google. We try to hide the footprint. We don't let Google see what we're doing. We try to form a shield, let's say, to keep Google away. Well, what Google figured out is instead of going out and actively searching for these PBNs, for all of these people that are manipulating, why don't we just figure out an algorithm that is going to ignore these links that are not linked to anything that's trusted. And the keyword here is something that is trusted. So if you're not linking, and that's a PBN by any definition that you care to call it, is something that's out there that's built just to link to another website and provide that link juice to it. And so if you're doing that's going to atrophy over time. That's what this algorithm, the ranking score algorithm, is all about.
Yeah. And just to add to what Marco was saying, we need to understand, guys, that there's a bunch of people teaching right now about PBNs, and they work right now. But as time goes by, having a PBN, it's an investment. The bigger the PBN, the bigger the investment to put it up, to setting it all up, and then it's an investment over time, because it's an asset that needs maintenance, and you're paying for hosting, you're paying for a bunch of things. And again, the bigger the PBN, the bigger these fixed costs are, and if you're purchasing something, it's like a car, that devalues over time. You're not purchasing an asset. You're not putting your time or your money in an asset, but a liability. Something that will take money out of your pocket over time.
Oh, or okay. At the very least, a depreciating asset.
That's right.
Well, no, that's very interesting. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting, but I'm still pretty new to this bigger game of SEO. I understood SEO when SEO was really simple. I didn't know it was going to get any more complicated than 2008, but hey, what do you know, right? So I've been seriously investigating how PBNs are put together and the overall steps, and it seems seems clear now. But what it sounds like, Hernan, you just clarified it. It seems very cumbersome, and it sounds like at least I hope what we're talking about today is going to open up some other options that, while PBNs are still technically working, they won't work forever, and there is a better way that Google likes even better than that, and you don't have to hide stuff, right?
Yes, that's exactly correct. And you said that
cool.
You said that you thought you understood SEO pretty well in 2008. Then you're going to love this.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Associations without semantic relationships are being discounted. This is what I call an orphaned account. It's kind of a term that I coined because essentially anybody doing link building, the traditional way would be to go out and find places that you could post some content with a link back to your site or to the page that you're trying to rank. But the problem with that is, as we continue to move further into Web 3.0 or the semantic web, is as I mentioned on one of the earlier slides, identity and brand, and engagement are really the currency of the web now. And so, if you create an article on or a Web 2.0 account, for example, or go to an existing site that is not themed or topically relevant, it's just kind of a general type site or whatever, and you create an account, post an article, and put a link back to your site, but it has no connections to anything else on the web, topically relevant or related to your particular identity or your brand, then it really is a depreciated link. It has no value, and that's what I call an orphaned account, because there's no relationship there with any sort of identity or cross-linking to other properties to validate that identity. And so an orphaned account link is really not worth your time and your effort anymore, and again, it can become even harmful.
And you just perfectly described the algorithm.
Exactly. And that's my point. That's the whole point, is the semantic relationships that that's where the algorithm is going. I mean, we're in it now. It's just a matter of it's not completely deployed yet. And it's rolling out in stages. And so when we talk about if you were to if you were to be a site owner and again, let's say the HVAC industry, would you want a link from just some random Web 2.0 out there with no connection whatsoever, with just some crappy article that has a link pointing back to your site and uses a keyword like, HVAC service plus your city, blah, blah, blah? Or would you rather have a link from potentially a home improvement website, a home improvement blog that has all the social properties? There's social engagement. There's a brand behind it, like, for example, This Old House, which we all know that from Bob Vila, or bobvila.com, something like that. Would you rather have a link from a site like that that has a brand and has a true identity from a thematically relevant source? Which link, in your opinion, as a viewer of this webinar right now, has more value, right? And so the one on a random website that with a link back to your site with no associations, no semantic relationships, is really not going to be valuable at all. And that's really what we're getting at.
Yeah. Well, and as an end user, again, I always think about what is the person on the other computer, like what are they looking at? I would much rather go through, Bob Vila, This Old House, whatever it is, to an unknown website. I would feel much more comfortable with that. So I can understand logically why Google would want that, because they only want to give the best results, right? That's what keeps people coming back and using Google. So we help Google with the most relevant stuff, and Google helps us by putting us at the top.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so niche sites are also being replaced by big brand and authority sites, and we talked about that. Big brand and identity is very, very important, and a lot of the time niche sites do not have that. They lack that, okay? So the most trusted properties according to Google: seed sites or pages in a group of seed sites would be considered a seed set. Again, that's talked about in Death of the PBN post that we just shared a moment ago. So go back and read through that when you have time, when this webinar is over, because it'll make a lot more sense then. But seed sets are very, very important. Social data hubs, or what we call semantic hubs. Those and a lot of those properties are properties that we use within IFTTT networks or IFTTT syndication networks. It's one of our flagship products is IFTTT SEO Academy, where we talk about building these seed sets and creating that identity and that brand through these seed sets that we set up on our own. It's very, very powerful, but we have a number of properties within there called semantic hubs, which some of which are social data hubs, and that's something else that you can look up by going to Google and type in Google social data hub partners, and you'll see some of the sites that we're talking about that fall within that seed set. Okay, topical authority sites and pages. That's very, very important, because in order for a site to be considered a seed site, okay, is it has to meet certain requirements, and it's not always there are a few properties, a handful of properties out there that would be considered seed sites across any type of category, topical category, and a lot of those are the ones that we use in our IFTTT syndication networks. But there are also seed sites that would only be considered seed sites to particular categories. And if this sounds any confusing at all, again, just read the article that we posted, the blog post. But the Bob Vila or This Old House example would be considered a seed site for any type of home improvement related or home improvement service related website, right? That would make sense because it is topically or thematically relevant to that. But linking a Bob Vila from Bob Vila or This Old House over to a red high heel shoes site wouldn't make any sense. And so that Bob Vila or This Old House site would not be considered a seed site for that, or for women's fashion, because it doesn't make sense. So the sites that are considered seed sites are going to vary depending on the category, okay, the overall topic, if that makes sense. They're going to be different sets for each one of those top level categories. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Co-citations. Again, that's that article I posted earlier from WordTracker. There's the link, but this is it here. This is going to talk about co-citations and co-occurrence. Encourage you to bookmark that and read that. That's going to be a resource that you can refer to over and over again as you continue your SEO training development. Okay, who is Google going to trust more than their own properties? It's a rhetorical question, guys, but who is Google going to trust more than their own properties, right? So obviously Google's going to trust their own properties. That's potentially that's why Most people watching this are probably aware that YouTube videos are somewhat easier to rank than websites for the most part because it's Google's own properties, and Google likes to display its own properties, which YouTube is owned by Google, so it likes to display YouTube videos in the search results because in effect it's promoting its own properties. So that's a rhetorical question, but you'll come to find out why here in a moment. The RYS story. So Marco, this is Marco on the left here. He's our mad scientist, along with one of our students, Dr. Gary Kirwan, who's displayed right here on the right. They teamed up together and went into the lab to figure out how to use Google against itself while remaining within the patent parameters. And the patent parameters are the seed sets and seed sites that we were just talking about through the death of the PBN, and some others because Marco likes to get into reading the patents. I think it's like Chinese to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, but he likes to get in there and read that and dissect them. And so, Marco, do you want to chat any about this?
Yeah, sure. It was actually 18 months in the making. After around 6 months is when 6-7 months is when we brought Dr. Gary in to help polish it up. But yeah, I think I've said it before in other webinars. I'm a patent geek. I will spend hours and hours and hours just reading through patents. But then the information that I get from it is invaluable because then I know where Google's going and why, and why certain things are happening. For example, why PBNs lose power over time. So you get those bits of information. Why Google looks at trusted sites, why it's so important, why it's so important to have that co-occurrence, for example, which came from another Google patent. All of these things that we talk about is not just something that we're guessing at. It's things that are public. It's things that Google has to first go and get permission, which is a patent, right? It's our invention. And so by doing that, they're making the information publicly accessible. All we have to do is go in there, read it, and figure out why and how.
Yep.
Everything else, all of the other information is there.
Yeah, I just got to chime in and say thank you, because I certainly wouldn't have the interest or patience to read through the patents. So I'm glad somebody like you is here, Marco, to set us all straight and be like, okay, this is what it actually says, right? Yeah, nice.
So I listed after 9 months of development. I thought that was, and I may be wrong, but I remember it had been about 9 months since you and Dr. Gary had actually teamed up that you revealed this to us, the rest of the Semantic Mastery team, because I remember that was in May of 2015. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was so absolutely dumbfounded by what you guys had developed and figured out. And so that's what this is about. After about 9 months of development of them working together, they revealed the RYS methods to the Semantic Mastery team. And I immediately, and this is Bradley speaking, I immediately set up a test to see how well this works. Like that very day. It was on a Saturday. I was supposed to be catching up on another project, entirely different project, but we were chatting in our chat box or chat window like we often do, and he revealed this to me, and I literally dropped everything I did and was doing and spent the next few hours setting up my first test, and I'm going to share those results with you here in just a moment.
Yeah, it's 9 months of Dr. Gary and I working together and about another 9 months of me being just deep in the rabbit hole trying to figure it all out.
Very good. So the first test criteria was I used and I'm going to share this with you guys here, the live example, crappy over-optimized spun article from a content farm, which is like in traditional SEO is an absolute no-no now. Okay, that's a quick way to get your sites penalized or just not recognized at all. Okay, but I used a crappy over-optimized spun article from a content farm, and I'm going to show you.
I was just clarifying, like over optimized, like it just kept adding the same keyword over and over again. Didn't really look like something worth reading. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it wouldn't be something that I would post on a money site, you know.
Oh, okay, all right. So like the site that you want to show off, that you want most of your customers to see, you'd be like, you don't want to see this article.
Yeah, it's not good content. It's not worthy of that at all. In fact, It could be used as link building content, something like that, but it wouldn't be something that I would want to point directly to my money site either. I would want this kind of content at least 2 hops, 2 tiers away from my money site. So I certainly wouldn't post it on my money site, and I wouldn't use it to link to my money site. Okay, if that makes sense. That's the level of quality that it lacked. So a fairly competitive keyword. And 100% all Google properties. So I'm going to share that with you now because we got to keep this webinar moving. I really don't want this to go too long, guys, and so we got to keep moving. But let's jump over here into Google. In fact, let me open up an incognito window, and the reason why is because I'm logged into a Google account there, and I don't want to skew the results. All right, so here's one of the questions, guys, or one of the keywords: SEO Virginia. Okay, SEO Virginia. So I live in Virginia in the United States, and I run a local SEO agency. So I put in one of the keywords I was optimizing for in this test, which again was in May. Look, May 16th, 2015. I just told you it was in May, right? Virginia SEO, Google. You see this, guys? I'm in #1 position. Let's open that link in a new tab. Let's take a look at this. This is a Google site, guys, that I put together in about. I think I'd spent coming brand new cold without the training that we have developed because it wasn't even developed yet. This was just with some brief, very minor instructions from Marco in a chat window. I immediately went out and set up a bunch of properties using this exact method that we're going to be talking about today, and took a Google site and added an article that I basically was a spun article from a content farm that I unspun. I created put it in an unspinner and spit out a version of it, and then I pasted it into this Google site, and I added some Google Drive files, which we're going to be talking about how to set these up and why. And look at this, guys. Like this is the, if you read through the content, it's barely worth reading. I can tell you that. I wouldn't waste your time, by the way. But this site right here is outranking every other SEO agency in Virginia.
Wow.
See that?
Virginia, like the whole state.
The whole entire state. Okay.
And with stuff that Google wants.
And it is.
Okay. Yeah.
In a way, but let's jump into something real quick. I want to share this. I'm going to try to. I really do want to keep this as brief as I can, but I do want to share something with you guys because I think this is important to share with you guys. Because you might think, some of you that are more advanced SEOs are going, oh yeah, well it's a Google property, you probably spam the hell out of it, and you got a ton of backlinks pointed to it, and that's why it's ranking. All right, well let's go take a look. I'm going to copy the URL right here, guys, and again, you see this #1. We're going to look at a couple other keywords too because it's ranking well across multiple keywords. But let's just jump over into Majestic SEO. That's my backlink analysis tool of choice. We're going to click on this. Guys, you see this? Referring domains. I've got 34 referring domains pointed to this, and I'm outranking every other SEO agency in the state of Virginia. And if we take a look at the URL, I don't have time to walk through this right now, but you guys can verify this on your own. If you go through here and click on these links and go do a backlink analysis on these other links, you're going to see several of these sites have thousands and hundreds, and even a few of them thousands of referring domains pointing to these sites. And I'm outranking all of them with a Google site that has 34 referring domains.
So most techniques would require many more backlinks, yes. More than 34, definitely, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you will require less backlinks, but from huge authority websites, you know.
Oh, okay.
So it's either link mass or link power. In any case, you will be dumping a ton of money or resources to create those. And what I like about this example is that it's worldwide. So it doesn't matter which Google TLDR you're using. Like, for example, google.com. I'm in Argentina, so it's google.com.ar, and it's still showing #1. You know, so it's like it's global. They are global results.
And what's interesting is, like what I did was after I had set that Google site up, I did run it through a PBN that was particularly a poorly designed or poorly built PBN because it was built upon 2010 practices, and so it was not something that I would ever use to link to a money site with. I was using it strictly for video embed network, or a video syndication network, or what I like to call video broadcasting network, to boost YouTube videos, because it was a PBN that was not themed well. The metrics had fallen over time, so I would never use them to link to money sites. But I just did basically set up a PBN run to build links to this property. And I think when I originally ranked this property, I had about 13 backlinks pointed to it from a very poor PBN of mine that I would never use for anything other than just for video syndication, really. And I was able to rank it. Now, since that time, it looks like some other links have come in and been indexed or whatever, but there's only 34 links here. So I just want, or 34 referring domains, and you can see the trust flow, citation flow. The metrics aren't high here, guys. And again, I encourage you to, in your own browser, go take a look at some of the competitors here, and go do a backlink analysis on them and compare, and you'll see that I'm doing really quite well for only 34 backlinks compared to the competition. And so what's interesting is now this particular site, guys, I didn't set the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If I can interrupt you in a second, I think guys in Chicago and New York are salivating.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, guys, the entire state of Virginia. Now, again, this site wasn't set up for conversions or anything. Like, I didn't optimize this site for conversions. This was a test, and I haven't done anything to this site since May 16th, 2015. Or 2015, excuse me, and you can see that obviously this isn't going to convert well. So before the question comes up, well, what do you do with something like this? Like, how is this going to be beneficial? Well, number one, I'm number one. So guys, I get lots of calls from this, even though it's an ugly site and it's not set up for conversion. There's no call to action. I could go in and spend some time setting up, making this site look more like a regular website, and I could get higher conversions out of it and everything. But this was just a test. And I get calls from SEO clients looking for me to quote them on work all the time, and I don't even take on any clients unless they're from a referral anymore. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So just your test, like, okay, let's see if this works, has been at the top of the ranking for Virginia SEO, and you get calls, and you're like, sorry, no, I'll refer you to somebody else. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but
such a high price that if they do accept the offer, I'd be happy to do it for them.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was one keyword. Let's just look at a couple more real quick, and then we'll go to a second example because, like I said, I need to keep this moving, guys. Here's another one, another variation of it. SEO agency VA. There we are, number one. Looks like I must have made it a little bit bigger on accident. Okay, so there it is, SEO agency VA. Virginia SEO, I looked at it earlier, and it looked like it wasn't there. It's probably doing the weird Google dance, like obviously that it does anybody. Virginia SEO agency, let's look at that. There we are, number one. We could just look at Virginia SEO, but earlier today it wasn't ranking, although there it is, Virginia SEO. So
what about best Virginia SEO?
Best Virginia SEO, yeah.
SEO agency.
I mean, it ranks for multiple keywords, guys.
Keyword. Look at that.
Yep.
Sweet.
And you'll see, by the way, you'll see some other properties ranking for this kind of stuff because these are part of my syndication networks from the IFTTT networks. This is a WordPress.com site that all I did was take the same content from this, guys, and this is taught in another course, our IFTTT SEO Academy, and also in part inside of RYS Academy, which we'll talk about later. But I just basically took this content and these drive files that I optimized and embedded them in a WordPress.com blog, and look, this is ranking on page one of Google as well. And so, guys, I'm out SEOing SEO agencies using Google properties.
That's so cool.
Right? Okay, so that was the criteria for, I want to keep moving, that was the criteria for the first test, right? And so those are the results. Test 2 criteria. This was once we fully developed the training, Marco and Gary, once they fully developed the training, we basically took on an initial set of students, and there was questions about the training and practice, and people had gotten accustomed to my particular style of training. So we had a lot of requests for me to go through and do a case study, a step-by-step over-the-shoulder training video case study on how to use this for local SEO. So I did, and I set up a separate test and a case study for this, and it was a local maps ranking case study using, once again, all Google properties and only RYS methods used to rank in maps. So this was a clean site. In fact, the test was, because I do local lead gen, and you guys saw that from the introduction slide. I have a lead gen business where I produce leads for local contractors mainly. So in the home services and contracting industries, a lot of home services stuff, right? HVAC contractors, plumbers, tree services, that kind of thing. Well, one of my biggest lead gen clients is a tree service contractor, and so I had in the town that I live in, which is in Culpeper, Virginia. It's not a very big town, so this isn't a very competitive term, guys. But that's not the point. This is just I use this specifically for this case study. We had a site that I had built originally years ago, 4 years ago, which was on an exact match domain. We talked about earlier not using exact match domains anymore because you should be building a brand. And so I had one built on treeserviceculpeperva.com. It was an exact match domain. And over time it got penalized because it was way over optimized. I built it in 2012, I think, either 2011 or 2012. So it was built upon old SEO practices. It was way over optimized, and it eventually got penalized. And I didn't care because Culpeper, we don't get a lot of leads. I produced a lot of other lead gen sites for him, that same contractor in Northern Virginia, where we get a hell of a lot more traffic, a lot more calls, a lot more work. And so it wasn't something that I ever really cared to spend the time reviving. However, for this case study, let's go through this, guys. We're going to walk through this. This was to see if I could bring the site back. This is, you guys just saw me rank a Google site here. Okay, that's for an outranked all other SEO agencies in the state of Virginia with a Google site. But let's talk about ranking a website or ranking a maps listing more particularly. Okay, so let's go take a look at this. This is the main keyword. Tree service Culpeper VA. Right here, Genesis Tree Service. This is ranked in maps. Now, if you want to go take a look at the website, that's fine. The only thing I did was I went through and de-optimized the text a little bit on this site. I changed the URL structure, I believe. Yeah, I did. Changed the URL structure slightly to make it to where it wasn't so optimized. Before it was like, and I, by the way, I put it on a branded domain. I told you guys that. In fact, if you go to treeserviceculpeperva.com, which was the original URL, it just redirects to this now. So I did a couple of things on page to de-optimize the site. But all I did differently to get this to rank, it was, and inside the training, there's a full case study on this. This was in like position, I think 17 in maps. So if you were to click on more places, you would go through here. It wasn't on this first page at all. You'd have to scroll all the way to the bottom and go to page 2, and then it was down around, I don't know, 3 or 4 in here somewhere. Okay, but if you go take a look at it now, we'll go back to page 1. You'll see Genesis Tree Services right here. Again, Tree Service Culpeper VA. That's the main keyword because most people, I've been in this industry for many years now. Tree service is the most searched keyword. Tree removal is number 2. Tree trimming is number 3. So let's just take a look real quick. Let's say tree removal. Let's say tree removal Culpeper. Number 1. Let's go look at tree trimming Culpeper, guys. And if you look at the organic ranking, I'm not doing super well with organic ranking, but if we take a look at the backlink profile, you'll see there's, I think, like 5 backlinks pointed to this site. I don't care about organic ranking for my lead gen business. I always rank for maps because that's where all my calls come through. I have tree service sites and also lead gen sites in a lot of contracting industries, home service industries all across the state of Virginia, and I can tell you 80% of all my calls come from maps. So there's really no point in me spending time trying to rank organically. Okay, here's the main site, by the way, for tree trimming. It's down at the bottom in number 10. I could care less because I'm number 1 in maps, which is where most of my calls come from. So if we were to actually take this site real quick and just take a look at it in Majestic. In fact, I could probably just start typing it. There it is. Let's take a look at this, guys.
If I understand this correctly, like you were saying, you don't care that you don't rank number 1 organically on that first page because, especially with a local business, you want to be in the map pack because that's where you get the calls, right?
That's where the calls come from. 80% of all my calls come. Even if I were ranked number 1 in organic, I can tell you that 80% of my calls will come through maps.
Huh. Cool. All right.
So, and it may be different in other industries, but I can tell you for the home services industry, I deal mainly with contractors for lead gen, and almost all of my calls, like I said, and you know the 80-20 principle. So, I focus all my attention on ranking in maps when it comes to lead gen stuff for the home services type businesses. But you guys can see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if people are looking to put in the effort, you could have both. You could put up a Google site and the 3-pack listing.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
You'll be in the 3-pack, so you'll be covering about 100% of what you need.
Right. Awesome. So you get the 80 and the 20, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you guys look, the website itself, I've got 5 referring domains. You guys see that? 5 referring domains, and we're number 1 in maps, right?
Wow. And what would be the average of like a typical, not this particular strategy? What you'd need like 500 backlinks?
Well, it depends. It depends on the level of competition. And
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in this particular market, it's really not that competitive to begin with, because this is kind of a smaller town in Virginia. So, this wasn't. But what through the case study, basically, I spent a Saturday or maybe a Sunday, I can't remember. It was on a weekend, recording all the training videos, the over-the-shoulder training videos on how I set this up using Google Drive properties, 100% free. We'll talk about that again in a minute. But and setting it up and linking to this site. And I was able to rank in maps. It took a few weeks for everything to take effect, but it went from, like I said, I think it was number 17 or somewhere between 17 and to 20 is where I was listed before in maps. And then a few weeks later, boom, I jumped to number 1, and I've been there ever since. It's been stuck in number 1 in maps now for months.
That is super cool.
Okay. So to keep moving, guys, we got one more case study. Let's see. I thought we did anyways. Oh no, but I don't have any. I don't have a slide for this. But by the way, so one of the things we were teaching our students was, and let me give you an example of this real quick. Here's what's called a drive stack. This is something that we're going to talk about with the training, but I want to give you guys an example of what a drive stack looks like. These are using Google's own properties. Again, this is the one that I did for Genesis Tree Service. So this is what I use to rank that service. These are all Google Drive files here, guys. These are all different Google Drive file types. There's the spreadsheets. There's the slides. Another spreadsheet. Google Drive videos. This is Google websites. This is Google Docs. Google Forms. Google PDFs. Google My Maps, and Google Drawings. And these are all Google Drive files, guys, and they're all been optimized and set up properly, which is what the training is all about. And I linked all of these properties to my money site using basically keyword stuffing and spamming, all the stuff that you got away with in 2005 that you can't do now. And,
okay,
and I was able to rank number 1 in maps using this method.
Okay, see, I thought you had like something else to talk about, and you're talking about the same stuff I use every day in Google Drive.
That's correct.
Wow. Okay.
Correct. Cool. That's why I said it's easy. It's free. So I mean, it's insane. You can kill your overhead SEO costs, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment as well. So that was just an example drive stack, guys. Here's one more test I want to run through very quickly, and we got to keep moving because I know this webinar is going a lot longer than I planned. But here is one that we did for one of our coaching. Our master class, which is it was a weekly coaching series. Now it's biweekly. We were doing a lot of case studies for our students, and one of them was a launch jack case study. And this method that we talk about using Google's own drive files to rank your shit is hence RYS Academy is that it works great for launch jacking because those terms are usually product terms that are just launching, so there's not a whole lot of competition, and you can rank a lot of different Google Drive properties very, very quickly. Now, this launch jack has been over now for months, so you'll see that a lot of the properties that I was ranking for on page 1 have fallen or slipped because this product is closed. You can't purchase it anymore. There's no reason for me to continue to try to build links to it or do anything else. But let's just say that when this product launch occurred, we did very well, and we were taking up as many as 6 or 8 spots on page 1 of Google with 3 or 4 or even 5 Google Drive files being ranked for the product keywords, like product keyword plus bonus, product keyword plus review, product keyword plus demo. And it was like the other affiliates were kind of like, how the hell is he doing this? Because they were all Drive files. And
okay, I get it. I was wondering that's who it was because I was like, man, usually it's a lot easier to rank for keywords. Yeah, it was you. You were the one that was pushing back. That's cool.
So this is one.
That one is actually the folder ranking. So it's the folder which contains everything.
Take a look at this, guys. I ranked this number 1 in Google for video traffic X bonus. It's a Google Drive folder.
That's a good looking thumbnail too.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing. If you click on any one of these, it's actually set up to where this was. I did take more time setting this up to where it would convert. Okay, so like or most likely, and this is a link, guys. This links over to the money site.
Oh,
which
wow.
is essentially the affiliate page, like the affiliate site. And I just embedded I embedded other Drive files into this Drive file. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Yeah.
So we're stacking Drive files. Here's another one. This is a Google Slides. Look at this. All these. Here's a video, a Google Drive or a YouTube video inside a Google slide. Here's an anchor text, or here's a URL that links over to my money site, which in this case was all of these guys. These are all slides that have different call to action that are clickable links on them. See that? And we ranked #1 for that, and we're still ranked #1 for that. This offer has been closed for months, but my point is that we ranked well for that. So that's video traffic X bonus. Let's look at discount. Right there, there's the drive file. There's a couple of my videos. There's my Facebook page. So we did very, very well with this launch. Let's look at one more demo. Video. Let's see. Did I have anything else ranked on here? It doesn't look like. It looks like just the video on this one. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, you know what I didn't look at was review, because demo usually returns videos anyways. So let's look at review. Okay, so for review, that's one of my videos. But right here, here's the Google PDF. We just showed this a second ago. This is a PDF. So, and again, this has been closed for many months, so there was no reason to keep it up. But let's just say these ranked almost like overnight, essentially. And so while all these other people were developing out these properties and building backlinks to them and everything, all I did was create some drive files, and boom, there we are. So that was pretty much it for the demonstration. Let's get back into the slides real quick, and we'll keep moving. I didn't want to take too much time, but so the RYS method. I wanted to kind of walk through, give you guys an overview of what it requires in order to do this. Okay, so it's Google Drive, and inside of Google Drive you create a public folder or folders depending on what you're doing with it. Okay, you create the file types. We just mentioned a lot of them, right? Google Docs, Sheets, My Maps, Forms, PDFs, Google Drive videos. Drawings, all of those are files that you can create, or file types. Google Slides that you can make inside of Google Drive. You optimize them. There's some tricks on optimizing that we're not going to reveal here, but it's inside the training. No need to worry about over-optimization. There's no need for unique content, guys. You can use the same content across every one of your files. Stuffing and or spamming is okay.
In fact, you can take all of your YouTube videos and repurpose them.
Yep. And again, stuffing and or spamming is okay, because these are Google's properties, guys. You don't have to abide by Google's rules and trying to get in Google's good graces when you're using Google's own properties. Does that make sense? It's like, it should click. You guys should be going, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because instead of having to follow all these rules and to make sure that Google's algorithm doesn't penalize you or whatever, now you're using Google's own properties. You think Google's algorithm is going to penalize its own drive files, its own domain? No, of course it's not. So
yeah. Okay, so this is what you meant by saying like this will take us back to 2008 when spamming and keyword stuffing was okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I love it.
So link to properties you want to rank. You want to link to other drive files. Okay, so you can interlink your properties and create a silo drive files within drive folders, which is what we Marco called it the spider silo. Okay, and so that's a term that works really well for this. It's called a spider silo. And then you can spam your drive files with links to push juice or link equity. Okay, so essentially you can build links to those properties your drive files that you set up to give them power, to get them to rank within within the first page of Google, as well as to push link equity to your properties, because you're using the Google domain to filter out any bad juju from that equity, if that makes sense. Okay, so why does this work? Well, because they're Google properties. You're linking from the Google domains, from Google domains, various Google domains for like Google Sites or subdomains for that matter, Google Drive.google.com. You're linking from Google domain to your money site or to the properties, the pages that you're trying to rank. This manufactures co-occurrence and co-citations. Go back to the article we shared from Word Tracker. Read about co-occurrence and co-citations. This manufactures that using Google's own properties. You can manipulate trust flow and topical trust flow, which is a metric. It's a majestic SEO metric, but Google has its own internal metrics that are very similar. And this is something that we can use to manipulate both the trust and trust rank and topical trust flow. And Google loves to show its own stuff.
Just to show the trust that's in this, we show in the training how to use a drive doc, what's called a drive doc, and we use it in AdWords. And Google loves itself so much that if you can bypass using the terms of use and all that other stuff that you have to comply with in using AdWords, you can just do away with it with the
No way.
training.
No way. That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm all about the AdWords, so
Yep.
I got to dig into that part for sure.
Yeah, you can use drive files as a target URL in an AdWords campaign. It's insane.
That's brilliant.
It's insane.
Now that I hear it, it makes so much sense.
Yep. So Google loves showing its own stuff, guys. We talked about that earlier. That's why YouTube videos tend to rank fairly easily. So Google likes to rank its own stuff because it puts more Google properties in the search results. So it's showcasing itself. Okay. So here are some questions that you may be asking. Why should I think this is important? Well, because you can outrank competitors. You can reduce your SEO overhead, right? If you're not having to pay for these properties, they're free. You can outsource the drive stack building. Okay, outsourcing the drive stack building is something that you should absolutely consider, but you can outsource. Excuse me. You can outsource the drive stack building. Either train your own VAs how to do it, your own virtual assistants to do it, which is certainly recommended, or you can hire a done-for-you service, which is something that we provide because by popular request, our students asked us to provide that service, so we developed that out as well. We'll talk about that later. But there's no fear of punishment. Okay, there's no fear of punishment, guys, because you're using Google's own properties to link to your money sites. Okay. How can I outrank competitors? Well, G sites with embedded drive files rank well with few backlinks. You just proved that, where I outranked all other SEO agencies in the state of Virginia with 34 referring domains. Originally, it was 13 when I first outranked everybody, guys. 13 from a spammy PBN network that I had, private blog network that I had. Okay. Drive stacks are a secret weapon for ranking local sites in the 3-pack. It works incredibly well. There are some specific things that you need to do to the drive files in order for them to be so effective, but we talk about that in the training. This is perfect for launch jacking. You can rank fast for product names and rank multiple file types to take up more of the first page spots so that you're pushing your competitors away. Okay? Great for online reputation management specialists. You can bury negative reviews with using drive files to push those negative reviews down to page 2 or page 3, whatever, by taking up more real estate on page 1 and page 2 using drive files. It works really well for when you start searching brand names. When you've optimized drive files for brand names, then you've made them public. You can rank those drive files for brand names. Makes them just like with launch jacking. You can do that for online reputation management, and you know that that's a fairly lucrative industry. Used to showcase good reviews. Think about PDFs or slides, using Google Slides and Google PDFs with screenshots of reviews and calls to action, so that you're ranking those additional properties with screenshots of reviews that could be taken off of Yelp, Google+, Facebook, any of the reviews that your clients have or your clients have that you want to showcase. You can add to PDFs or slides and rank those as well, so that you're taking up even more space on page 1 for their brand name.
Could you do screenshots of, say, like Amazon reviews?
Sure, you could. Absolutely.
Very cool.
For Amazon. Okay, so how can I reduce SEO overhead? Well, Google Drive is free. We mentioned that several times. I want to hit that point again. Google Drive is free. You don't need special software. Okay, you don't need PBNs. They're not required. No more buying expensive domains from auctions. You guys, anybody that's purchased, gone through that's a nightmare. Going through, first of all, researching the domains, then you find them, then you got to go bid on them, and then you've got other SEOs always outbidding you and willing to spend more money than you are, or you get caught up in the auction frenzy and you spend way more than you should have, and then you have buyer's remorse, but you can't return it. So no more researching domain metrics looking for good ones, and hosting isn't required, so you don't have that ongoing monthly expense. Okay. All right, and how can I outsource drive stack building? Well, there we go. I knew it was in here somewhere. Once you learn the process, you can hire and train a VA to build these for you. You can charge thousands of dollars for this while paying a VA only hundreds of dollars. This is completely scalable, guys. And Semantic Mastery offers a done-for-you drive stack building. Right there's the URL. It will also be placed in the comments as well, the chat box, and probably below if there's a replay. So We charge for a full done-for-you stack with all the bells and whistles and all the options around $300. And guys, you can charge clients thousands of dollars for these. At the very minimum, I would never charge less than $1,000. That's a 300% markup, a 333% markup, or whatever. So this is something that you can do if you're doing local client consulting work. You can charge for these and actually outsource it to us, or hire your own VAs, and you'll probably get your drive stacks built for about, you know, $200 or maybe even a little less, depending on how good your VA is. Okay. How can I be sure I won't hurt my money site? Well, these are Google properties linking to your money sites. So Google's not going to penalize your site for inbound link infractions when it's Google's files that are Google's own domain linking to you. Oh, Mr. Site Owner, I'm going to penalize your site because you allowed you let us link to you. Like that.
Yeah. Well, and this is what you were saying at the beginning. Like, this is 100% approved by Google, right? Like, again, like Google can't deny its own children, right?
That's right. So use Google as the filter or buffer for any potential negatives. You can use Drive files as the buffer for all your sinister SEO work. I like that because, and I wish I could have purchased sinisterseo.com, but it wasn't available. Sinister SEO, you know, any type of evil backlinking, spammy stuff that you want to do, you can point directly at Drive stuff, guys, because Google's domain will handle it instead of pointing at your money site. Okay, you let Google be the filter for that kind of stuff. Drive files can quickly be deleted or set to private if needed. Haven't ever seen any sort of negative reaction from any sort of drive stacks pointed to my money sites, but in the event that something did happen, I could quickly come in here and just turn this entire folder to private or delete it. And it would be boom, poof, just like that, it would be gone. So there would be no issues. It's very quick and very easy. Anybody that does any sort of link building, you know that link building can be a real pain in the ass, because in the event that something does go south, you have to go back to all your different properties. First, to identify which property it was that's causing the negative SEO effect, and then you have to go in and change the link or delete the post or whatever it may be. But in this case, everything's housed in one nice, clean folder that you can just set to private or delete entirely, and it's done, just like that. It's very, very quick. So we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to try to wrap this up. I know we were way longer than I wanted to, but I want to go through setting up a property. So this is the bonus as promised. Do you guys remember when I mentioned at the beginning that we were going to make you an offer for the full RYS training? Well, I'm going to just, here's the link if you guys want to go check it out right now. It's semanticmastery.com/ZaneRYS. That's one word, ZaneRYS. Again, the link should be dropped in chat as well as the description below. You can go check out the offer right now, but I encourage you to stick around, and I'm going to tell you about a little bit more about the offer in a moment. But first, I want to give you the bonus that I promised.
Yeah. Well, and just as a quick thing, I just wanted to mention to everybody, for the sake of the recording and future editing, which no one will hear this part anyway, you can just also go ahead and click right here on the screen. You should be able to see the annotation. If you don't see the annotation, all you got to do is look in the description below. You'll see all fancy bells and whistles that I've added to the description to make this even more engaging. Again, I don't know what's going to be in there, but it's going to be awesome, right? So links will all be available in the description. Again, there's people answering questions and stuff like that on the channel. So knock yourself out. Whatever you got, we will reply. But there you go. I just had to put this in again for the sake of editing. So on to the bonus. Thank you.
Okay, so the full walkthrough setup of my maps, I'm going to walk you guys through one of those as just a demo very quickly. I'm going to run through it so that I can open up your eyes to the power of my maps. It's something that we probably wouldn't be sharing this anywhere outside of RYS, but we do want to, for Zane's audience, be able to share something of value so that you guys have something to take away from this, whether you purchase or not. Okay. So the full walkthrough, the setup of my maps, I got logged in over here to an account. This is just kind of one of my accounts for one of my mini IFTTT networks guys. But what we're going to do is just walk through my map setup and use it in a demonstration. We're going to just use semanticmastery.com as the demo. And we're going to walk through this rather quickly because we don't have a lot of time. But inside of Drive, we can go over here to go to New, and we can go to this More button right here, and we're going to go to Google My Maps. Click that. And this is going to bring up Google My Maps, which is something that's very, very powerful that very few people talk about. And so you're actually getting an inside scoop here on something that we hope that you really appreciate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for let's see if I say semantic mastery. The highway. Okay, so because I have an actual Google local page for this site, because we have a physical location, a physical address for our company in Gainesville, Virginia, so that I can go get mail there at the box and everything. It's showing up here in Maps, but this will also work for brand new sites, guys, or brand new locations. You can use this for more than just local, guys, but we're just going to walk through a local example here. So I'm going to click on that. Now what that's going to do is it's going to bring up this map pin here, that if we zoom in on it, you'll see that it should be located pretty much right on top of the U.S. Post Office, because essentially this is just a P.O. box that I have for our corporate address, okay, for semanticmastery.com. But you can see that this pulled this up. Now, right now, this is the data point, but we can add stuff to here, okay? I'm going to say go ahead and add to map, which I just did, and you'll see now that what this did was this brought in our NAP, our name, address, and phone number, right, plus a link to our website. Now, again, if you don't have a new, if you don't have a physical location yet, you can add a map pin. So, just for example's sake, and we're going to optimize this in just a moment because I want to run through this very quickly. But there's this map pin up here where it says Add Marker. We could just click that, and then we could point. Let's just say that I wanted to add my brand new site for something else, over here. Let's just say that that's it. I'd put my map pin there, and then I would give it a name. By the way, you can use these just like we talked about, where you can use keywords, straight keywords, if you're trying to optimize for particular keywords. You can add multiple data points across the map. Those of you that are working on local consulting or lead gen and you have a particular service area, you could put multiple map pins across the different municipalities that your service area, that your client services or that your lead gen site services. So you could put keywords in here, you could put brand names in here, you could put multiple things in here, okay? For example, let me just back out just a little bit. You'll see that one of the things here is, one of the locations here is called Haymarket. Haymarket is a small municipality right next to Gainesville, but there's overlap there. So I could take this data point here actually, and I could move it and just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and optimize point 2 right here for, let's call this SEO agency, even though we're not, Semantic Mastery isn't an agency, but I could say SEO agency Haymarket, PA, if I wanted to. Okay, then I would optimize this description. Okay, and we can go back and optimize the actual Semantic Mastery data point as well, the map pin as well. But let me show you some of the cool stuff that we can do with this, guys. So, first of all, we want to optimize the description. We've got a keyword optimized title, but we could also put in, like I said, a brand name there, depending on what you're trying to do with it. But let's go ahead and grab this. I'm going to come over here and we're going to paste this stuff in. Now, if we were to scroll through here, I know the window is very, very small, guys, but just follow along the training, pause it if you need to, and you can go set one of these up on your own and play with it. But you'll see that I got semanticmastery.com. It will be a clickable link when I click Save. Then I've got some keyword optimization, a description here where I could put in a strong call to action at the top, but then below the fold I could spam it with a bunch of keywords if I wanted, a bunch of LSI or co-occurring keywords, synonyms, long tail keywords, things like that. But then look, guys, I can put in my links to my social properties, which create that semantic hub that we talked about. So we have our Facebook page, we have our YouTube channel, we have our Google Plus page, our business page, our Google. You could put your Google Plus local page in here. Here's your Twitter SEO, or excuse me, our Twitter.com, our Twitter account, our Twitter profile. You could put your NAP here, your name, address, and phone number here. Right? So you can put your name, address, and phone number in there. Citation links here, guys. You could take your Yelp listing, your Angie's List, your Yellow Pages, your Brown Book, all of those, and paste those links in here. You could also link to a Google map here. So let me explain what that looks like real quick to you, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. But let's go over to Google real quick and just go to Maps, not My Maps, but regular Maps. Okay? And let's take a look at this. We're going to click on that, and now we're going to search for Semantic Mastery. There, we just found it again, right? So we're clicking on that, and hey, look at that.
Cool.
There's Marco.
Hey, what's up, Marco?
So this is the regular Google Maps algorithm that we're looking at here. The results from Google Maps itself. This is what's on the back end through Google My Business is tied to your Google Plus local page. You can see your NAP details. All that stuff is in here. Well, look, we'll go over here and click on Share, And now we have this URL here that's our share URL for this map result. Or we could click the short URL and get a smaller, nice, prettier, more concise link, right? Now we've got this link that we can come over here to my maps, and we can paste my maps link in here, guys, right? So let's go ahead and just click save for a minute. Now take a look at this. Oops, let me back up for a minute. Take a look at this, guys. You see this description here? We've got a keyword up here. We've got links that link over to our money property, links to all of our social properties. We're building authority. We've got our NAP, name, address, phone number here. It's not listed, obviously, because this is just an example. Here's a link to our Google Map, guys. You see that? So we're linking from Google My Maps to Google Maps, creating relevancy, that relationship. We've got our citation links here, Yelp, Angie's List, Yellow Pages, all that stuff. We've got a link to anything we want. Now, let's take this one step further. This will blow your mind. Let's go ahead and click this Add an Image. And let's go back over here, and we're just going to take one of our example videos here. This is a URL from our YouTube channel, and we're going to come over here and go to YouTube URL, and we're going to paste in our Merry Christmas from Semantic Mastery video. Obviously, I would want to use a video that's optimized for keywords that I want, but I'm going to go ahead and hit select, and now look at this. Now I have embedded video in there.
That's awesome. Huh. That's really cool.
So we got an embedded YouTube video inside of a Google Map property that's linking out to all of our other. What are we doing? We're creating relationships here, guys. You think that's can help me to rank this video? If this were optimized, this is just a demo video. Merry Christmas from Semantic Mastery. But if I wanted to rank for SEO agency Haymarket VA, don't you think I'd have a video targeting SEO agency Haymarket VA with a call to action, blah blah blah, and embed that in here? You think that would help it rank? Now this map isn't done yet. Over here is the title of the map. So let's go ahead and click the map title, and let's just say we're going to say SEO consulting and training, something like that. And if I wanted to, I could put my phone number in here, because these will show up in the search results, guys. These my maps, when set to public, will show up in the search results, and the title right here, the map title, is your title tag. So, and I'm going to show you an example of that in just a moment. But SEO consulting and training, I could say Semantic Mastery. I could put, if I wanted to, a phone number in that title tag so that the phone number shows up in search results. Same thing with description here. I would want to put a well-optimized description in here, perhaps link to the top-level category pages on my site if I'm using Siler architecture. I could use this to link to my other Drive files. If you take the full RYS Academy training, you'll learn how to do that, but you could link to other Drive files. You could link to your social properties, all the stuff that I just shared a moment ago. So I'm just going to copy this and drop this in there again. And then I'm going to take this one step further here. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now take a look at this, guys. This right here, if we look at more, we click on more, and when we look at this as a public URL, which, by the way, there's a share button here. We're going to click Share. Right now it's set to private, only I can access because it's in Google My Maps. However, I can click on this change button and go to on public on the web, and I have it set to where anybody can view it, but they can't modify it. I'm going to click Save. Now I've got this URL here that I'm going to copy, and I'm going to jump back over here to my incognito window that I had open, and we're going to take a look at what this looks like. It's probably not indexed yet, but we talk about how to index all this stuff later. But this is what people, the public, would see, because we're not in the editing screen. And so you can see that if we click on this, we click this drop down, this is going to bring up our description area that we just optimized. Which, by the way, guys, you can put a whole article in here that's well optimized article with keyword stuffing. I don't care, it doesn't matter. You can put literally, Marco, you're on. Didn't you put like a 20,000 word article in there and it accepted it?
During our test, I dropped the wiki information for New York City in there.
God,
and I had no problems with it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And guys, links and everything. These are all links that link out, guys. And look at the links. I don't know if you can see it in the bottom corner here, guys, but they're direct links. They're not redirects. So these, I mean, they're hugely powerful for SEO. Okay. Then look at these layers over here. This is what I'm talking about. Like, let's go ahead and click done for a minute. If you see this layer here, guys, I can optimize this layer name. So I could call this like Semantic Mastery, SEO, I don't know, SEO training, teaching, something like that. I'm just going to put that, SEO training. I'll say SEO training. I need to spell that right, but here we go. We're going to click this and save that. So now we've got a keyword optimized over here. We've got these different layers, guys. What happens if I want to add another layer? I'll just go ahead and click Add Layer. Now here it is. I can come in here. I can optimize that title. Here's the thing that I want to get at with this, guys. is you can literally take, if you're doing a service area stuff, and drop pins on all the different service areas, the municipalities. Like here, right here, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little bit small. Maybe zoom in a little bit. But here's a big city that's next to Gainesville called Manassas. If I wanted to target that, I'd click on the marker, go over here, drop it right on Manassas there. And right here's point 1. I would say SEO services, maybe this time change it up a little bit, but say Manassas, VA. And same thing, I'd optimize this. I'd put another YouTube video in there. I'd have links pointing to maybe different pages on my website, the top level silos, the top level categories of the silo headings. All of this, guys. You see that? See how powerful that is? Now you've got. Let's just real quick add that same demo text in here, and click save. And that's the my maps URL. You link to yourself. Why not? Let's go back over here and just refresh this page.
I can see why you were saying that this can be handed off to a virtual assistant, like really, really easy. But when you want to have that wide swath, you know, it's going to take some time. So why not have an easy task for a low-paid virtual assistant to take care of it?
That's right, and that's why I'm saying there's a lot of, you know, we always recommend to outsource everything that you can, so that you're spending your time focusing on higher level stuff, because this is a lot of manual work. But you know, once you start, if you're just starting out, maybe you need to generate some income from stuff like this, because you're going to out SEO all your competitors, and they're going to wonder what the hell's going on, and you start raking in the money, and then you hire the people and go with it. You know what I'm saying? So. Anyways, you guys can see, look at the keywords on this, guys, and look at the different map pins. And you click on the pins, and you'll see that we click on this one, and it should bring up the, I don't know why it's not bringing up the video. It looks like there's a caching issue because it's blinking, but that's okay. My point is you've got all these different things that you could look at that that you could add here and optimize and get away with murder. And this is now a public thing. So let me just show you what that looks like, because we're going to move on. Hopefully you guys get the idea. We do need to wrap up, but let me show you. Let me see. There was one that I wanted to show. Oh, there is one of the keywords I was looking for earlier. Okay, yeah, here we go. These are a couple examples of what else can happen with Google Drive files and optimization. Let's just open up another tab in this incognito, and if we look at Video SEO Virginia, guys, this is a Google My Map. Video SEO Virginia, this is a Google My Map. This is exactly what I just showed you guys how to do. And all these other video SEO companies that have video SEO services in the state of Virginia, I've outranked them with this Google My Map. This is it. And all it is, guys, is one data point right here. That's it. One data point, and I've got a few, you know, a little bit of, I don't have any, look at this, there's not even an article in here. It's just a few links. These are geo.gl short links that link to other properties, but I got a call to action right there in the description of the title. See that? And this is just Google My Map outranking everybody else that does video SEO in Virginia. Let's shorten this down just a little bit and take a look at just this one. There's a video that I did. Here's Google My Maps again. So these do rank, guys. You can rank these, and not only that, but you can use these as points to build links to that link to your money sites. Okay. So I know we were way over on time, and I do apologize for that, but hopefully this was valuable for you guys. I wanted to give you a full walkthrough setup of My Map, something that you guys can take away. And we're going to basically get right into what the product is. RYS Academy. Here's what you get inside of RYS Academy, guys. And again, RYS stands for Rank Your Shit. And we did that intentionally, because this is like, you know, Google, Marco came up with the name because he said, look, we're just going to rank our shit with Google stuff. So we came up with RYS Academy. But over-the-shoulder training videos showing you every step for every file type. This includes Drive setup, docs, PDFs, slides, forms, sheets, drawings, My Maps, videos, websites. That's right, Google, not Google sites like what we showed you with the Big Bamboo marketing example, the video SEO, or excuse me, the SEO Virginia example. But these are actual websites that you can host within Google, or there's some issues with Google hosting going away I think at the end of August of 2016, but we also added some training to show you how to host these HTML sites using Amazon S3, and it literally costs pennies per month to host those sites, but very, very powerful because you're piggybacking off the authority of the Amazon domain. So the Amazon domain, so very, very powerful. So we talk about setting up HTML sites using Drive files and then adding them to Amazon S3. Very powerful. I use those for PBN sites, for a lot of PBN stuff now. So I would show you the inside of the dashboard, but I'm not logged into that. but there's a ton of training in there. Again, there's a separate module for each one of these guys inside the training area. And there's, you know, anywhere between 3 to 5 or 7 videos per, depending on how much is required. But we try to keep the videos down to a short amount so that they're, you know, instead of having one long video that's 25 minutes long, we might have 3 or 4 or 5 videos that range anywhere between, you know, 5 to 8 minutes long, so that you get basically the steps down, and then you can go to another video. So the training is done very well, very thorough. Everything over the shoulder. There's no stone left unturned. Okay, so there's nothing left for chance. You get the advanced training for supercharging the drive stacks, which there's training about setting up Google Sites. Google Sites posting script. This is a custom script that Marco and the team created that will auto post and build your Google Drives, or your G Sites, your Google Sites on autopilot based on whatever you create in your public Drive folder. So essentially, this script will take whatever content you put in your Drive folder and auto post it to a Google Drive site, or a Google site, creating the site for you so that you don't have to do the manual work. Okay, very, very powerful, and it's really, really cool. Spider siloing, that's the term that Marco coined, talking about how to interlink all of your Drive files properly. Rapid indexing, trust flow injecting. There's a separate module specifically on how to inject trust flow into your Drive files, and that Hernan did. So there's a separate module specifically for that. And then Twitter bromancing. We call it Twitter bromance. We always make jokes in Semantic Mastery about the bromance, the love fest between Google and Twitter that we can take advantage of. And so there's basically a Twitter bromancing section where it shows you how to take advantage of Twitter to help boost your Drive stacks. Okay, private Facebook community for RYS Academy members only. So that's something where anybody that's purchased there's a community inside of Facebook for that. So people share, you know, techniques and strategies and stuff like that. It's also kind of an area where some support questions get answered from us, the creators. There's 2 advanced Q&A webinars where we answer questions and reveal even more methods to rank your shit. And lastly, I forgot to put a bullet in for this, but there's that local SEO case study for the Genesis Tree Service site that I demonstrated earlier. And I did a full-on video series, like 28 or 30. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was like 28 or 30 over-the-shoulder videos of exactly how I set that up from point A to the very end when it ranked #1 in maps. And that's a separate module of the local SEO case study where I did all the training for that. So that they're literally, and a lot of the students inside the academy had said that was very, very helpful for them because it helped them to put all the pieces together and see it done in a linear fashion from beginning to end. All right. So from students, there's a couple testimonials here from one of the webinars that we had done. These are from a lot of our own. We did an internal launch with members of our, mastermind or one of our coaching products or coaching groups. And a lot of our members basically told us do not share this information outside of our mastermind because they said that it was too good. And so here's some of those right there that you can read. There's also this was an unsolicited testimonial from a member in another Facebook community that had nothing to do with us, but there was some questions about our product in that Facebook community. And this guy, Chris Morris, he wrote this really lengthy testimonial talking about how incredible he thought the course was, and again, this was completely unsolicited, and it was in somebody else's group, and I just took a screenshot of it, and I didn't even ask for permission to use it, but I'm showing it here anyways. So, but he essentially said it's totally worth everything that the cost of the admission. So. Okay, and bonus from Semantic Mastery, we're not, that's not all. The RYS Academy stuff is awesome, but we're giving, as part of a bonus for anybody that purchases, our Twitter SEO Academy included with it. This is a 23-module training course that sells for $197. Essentially, we created an entire different course out of specifically to manipulate or to take advantage of the bromance between Google and Twitter, the love fest of the Google Twitter love fest. And so this is the 23-module training course that sells for $197. You can actually check it out at semanticmastery.com/Z Twitter SEO, and you'll see that is indeed a live sales page, and it sells for $197. But we're going to include that as a bonus for buying RYS Academy. And you can use it for driving traffic and manipulating trust flow. Dr. Gary is really the ninja behind that. He's created a ton of incredible recipes and methods for using Twitter. He actually finds and closes clients right inside of Twitter for local SEO. Like, he closes SEO clients, finds them and closes them inside of Twitter for hundreds and even thousands of dollar SEO campaigns. No kidding. And he proves it and shows live examples inside the Twitter SEO Academy. It's really cool. And you can learn to sell Twitter SEO as an agency service. That's something that very few agencies know how to do, and this is something that you can sell completely as a standalone service, or in you know, as a companion service to other SEO services like selling RYS drive stacks.
Yeah, one of the really, important things about Twitter SEO Academy is we teach you how to take your Twitter account out of the sandbox. Most of you have a Twitter account that's probably in the sandbox and you don't even know. So we'll teach you how to figure out if you're in the sandbox and how to get out.
Okay, so Twitter SEO Academy, why we're giving this to you is we're giving this to you because it perfectly complements RYS Academy training. This is one of our secret sauces that will give you an edge over the other any other SEO marketers. And combining RYS with Twitter SEO is a powerful combination for building authority and driving targeted traffic. It really truly is, guys. I mean, that's why it was developed as part of the RYS Academy training. Like, it kind of going down this rabbit hole with RYS Academy. When Twitter and Google started this love fest that they had, we saw opportunity there that we wanted to exploit, and that's where Twitter SEO Academy was developed from that, and it just happened to perfectly complement RYS Academy, so that's why we're including this as a bonus. All right. So RYS plus Twitter SEO, you can get RYS plus Twitter SEO Academy here. Go to semanticmastery.com/ZaneRYS. Links should be available on the screen itself, in the chat box, and below it as well. And also, as a bonus for any fast action takers, that's $100 off coupon there. It's just Zane100 off. You enter that in at checkout, and it'll take $100 off the purchase price. So we encourage any of you that are on the webinar to take action and grab that now while you can, because once the $100 bonus coupon is been used entirely, which I can't remember how many slots that is. It's just for fast action takers. It will be basically taken down. So in closing, you can get RYS and Twitter SEO Academy at semanticmastery.com/ZaneRYS. Again, $100 off for fast action takers using the coupon code Zane100 off. And guys, if you have, since the webinar went too long, we really can't get into Q&A. The demonstration and the presentation went through a lot longer than I had really planned. But honestly, we wanted to make sure that you guys got the most information. We wanted this to be educational, not just promotional. And we certainly hope that you've come away with some knowledge and a realization of the potential. But if you do have any pre-sale questions, contact us at support@semanticmastery.com. We'd be happy to answer your pre-sale questions. Just remember that that $100 off coupon may not be available at that point if you wait too long, but you still will be able to purchase the product. So contact us at support@semanticmastery.com if you have any questions. So with that, Zane, well, thanks again, Zane, for taking the time, way more time than we planned, and presenting with us, and thanks to Hernan and especially Marco, because he wasn't planning on being here. So thank both of you for being here as well.
Thanks, everyone. It's been a pleasure. See you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Have fun, and see you inside the Facebook group.
Absolutely, and really appreciate you being here as well. A lot of really, really great content, and a lot of extra clips and stuff like that too. So I appreciate the extra time, and I know everybody watching appreciates it too.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Amazing. See you.
All right. See you guys.